In this video, I'm gonna teach you how to make a timer like this in Unity 3D. First thing first, you need to create a C# script. Right click, create C# script. Give it any name you like. In this case, we call it timer. Now we need to define a variable. We write serialized field, float, time, equals to 100f. It's gonna represent the time we have in second, which means 100 seconds. Obviously, we don't want to show 100 seconds in our timer. We need a minute and a second. The question is, how are we going to convert this into minute and second? It's very simple. First, create a method. Void, give it a name, such as show time, open parentheses, close parentheses, open and close brackets. Let's start with minute. We create a float variable by writing float minute equals to. Remember, every minute is 60 seconds, which means in order to turn this 100 into a minute, all we need to do is write time divided by 60f. That's it. Now we write debug.log and copy and paste this variable in it. By the way, don't forget to put your showtime method in start. Therefore, when the game starts, it runs the method. We attach it to any object. In this case, we give it to main camera. And let's run the game to see the result. And as you can see, there is a big issue with result. We have 1.666667 minutes, which doesn't make sense at all. How are we going to fix it? It's simple, by using a method named massf.floor. What does it do? It brings down the number. For example, if we give it 1.66, it returns 1. If we give it 7.2, it returns 7. Simple math. Now we run the game again and the problem is gone for good. Now the minute is solved. Let's talk about second. We create another float variable. We call it second equals to. Equals to, instead of writing divided by 60, we write percent by 60. What does percentage do? It returns what is left after division. For example, if you write 10% 3f, it returns 1. Yes, I know, simple math. We change it back to time percent 60f. And in order to get it in the format of a timer, we write this. We write minute plus double quotation, colon. Keep it in mind to put a space before and after colon, so minute and second won't be too close to each other. And obviously plus second. Now if we run the game, we see this. If we change 100 to 95, we see 1 minute and 35 seconds. Now the first problem is solved. Let's talk about the second one. We want this to change every second. How are we going to do it? We need to use a method named InvokeRepeating. What does it do? You give it a method name and it repeats it over a certain time. For example, we give it show time. Keep in mind, don't copy and paste the method. You need to write the name of method without parentheses between two double quotations. This is the first variable we need to give to this method. The second one is, when should it start? Should it start 5 seconds after the game begins or 10? We say no. Start the moment the game begins. We write 0f. For the third and last variable, we need to define the time it needs to wait to repeat itself. Obviously, it needs to be repeated every second, so we write 1f. And don't forget, every time we call showTime method, the amount of time variable should be decreased by 1. How are we going to do it? We write time minus semicolon. And when you run the game, you see, yeah, it's working. 1 minute, 39 seconds, 38, 37, 36, 35, and the list goes on. However, it's not what we need. We want to see it in our scene. We need a text to show our time. How are we going to do that? Keep in mind, we are going to show our time in a 3D environment. It's not going to be UI. So using legacy text is not an option. We need to use Text Mesh Pro. By right click on the object, 3D object, Text Mesh Pro. And here we see our text. Obviously it's too big, we need to shrink it. 5, put it in the center, and obviously 5 is too much. Let's make it 1.7. Yeah, it's better, but we need to give it a 180-degree rotation. We change 0 to 180 and better. This is a Text Mesh Pro. So we create a Text Mesh Pro in our script. What should I call it? Time underscore text. Why not? And we say, hey, Mr. Showtime, take time underscore text dot text. Whatever text it has, change it. Set it equals to this. We drag and drop our Text Mesh Pro here, and when we run the game, yep, you see our timer in a 3D environment. And it's working perfectly. However, there is a big issue with it. The font. The font sucks in all possible ways. How can we change the font? Go to any website and download any font you like. I use the font, you can use another, and I'm gonna use this font. Download it and import it into your project. Keep in mind, Text Mesh Pro is not a text. It's a 3D model in the form of text. So it doesn't use the font you just downloaded. You can't select your font and drag and drop it here. It doesn't work like that. You need to convert it into Text Mesh format. It's a piece of cake. Just go to Windows, Text Mesh Pro, Font Asset Creator. Give the font you have downloaded here, put it here, and click on Generate Font Atlas. And don't forget to save your new font. What should we call it? Let's call it My Timer Font. And here you can see the difference between a Text Mesh Pro and a regular font. This is a regular font. And now we put our new font here, and the font has changed. Perfect. And also you can change the color. Let's make it green. Fantastic. We have a timer, but there is a big issue. If we set it to 5, what happens if it reaches 0? Yup, that's my problem. Nothing happens. We created this mechanism because something's supposed to happen when it reaches 0. How are we going to fix it? By using a very important line named if. What is if? Click on top right icon to learn. We write if, open parentheses, we say, hey, Mr. Showtime, if time is less than or equals to 0, do whatever that is written between these curly brackets. The first thing you need to do is to cancel invoke. If you simply just write cancel invoke, Unity will cancel all invokes in your game. In this case, we give it a name. We say, hey, don't care about other invokes. Just cancel showtime. Here it is. If time is equals or less than 0, cancel invoke. Don't repeat. No more. And then take time text. Change the text to game over. But don't stop here. Take time text again, but this time change the color and set it equals to color. Look at the colors you have. Dot red. Select the red one. So when time is, you know what? Let's change it to less than 0. When time is less than 0, do this. And let's do it again. 2, 1. Bingo. We just created a timer for our game. And that's it.